Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely Stream Deck. For more information about the Stream Deck, the link is in the description below.
Good evening everyone and welcome to round 7 of the AOR Season 18 PCF2 League. After a week break we are back racing, and what a place to go racing. We are of course here in Canada at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve, one of the classic street tracks in Formula 1, fit for high speed action and a hint of drama as well. A 4.36 km circuit with 14 turns, fit with 3 DRS zones making overtaking a high likelihood, as well as some tight and twisty chicane to go with it. One of which the scene of the infamous incident that caused high drama at the Grand Prix this year between none other than Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton. Will we have our own titans causing major discussion after tonight's race? Well, if we do, I have my co-commentator Jens to keep me company for that if that occurs. So good evening to you, Mal.
Good evening.
Now I don't know about you gents, but I'm feeling a little rusty after a week without commentating. Maybe the drivers feel a little bit of rust too, not having any league races for 2 weeks possibly. But surely this is one of those punishing tracks for any mistake.
Yeah, I mean, after these break weeks, you see the drivers. Some drivers are extra prepared because they've now had extra time to go into time trials and Grand Prix and train for this track. Others may just sit back and relax and just hope that everything goes well. So yes, some drivers are a bit rusty, whilst others are just really well prepared.
And speaking about mistakes and incidents, well, yeah, obviously we had Monaco 2 weeks ago, and Martin G, who was the former championship leader, obviously lost that championship lead to Napadowski, who unfortunately isn't here tonight. But yeah, Martin G will be looking to bounce back really and retake the championship lead. It looks likely if he can just get a decent result. I'm not really sure when Napadowski is, but that's a big loss for not just himself but also McLaren's Constructors' Championship tally. But Railgun has now taken THM spot, as THM has unfortunately left us, as has Lazzaro, Boom Sonk and Flash. Flash has been moved down to F3, all the other guys have left the league. Yeah, a bit of a shortened grid tonight, but still don't dampen any of our spirits at the moment, because Canada never fails to deliver really.
No, it never does. And looking here in qualifying now, we have already seen a couple of drivers out there setting times, and for some reason the game audio has decided not to go through.
You're not getting that either? I'm not getting any.
No, the game audio has decided not to. Let's try and check the settings. Just do that. Okay.
I'm not getting any engine noise.
No, me neither. Let me try and check these settings. Audio settings. No, mine is the audio still on. That's weird. Oh, no, there is oh, and my OBS has just decided not to do anything. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Okay, we're gone.
After 2 weeks, both myself and my computer is a bit rusty, it seems. But yeah, I don't think any of us is receiving any game audio, or at least any engine audio, which is a bit peculiar.
Yeah, I'm just hearing that annoying announcer on the track. So.
Yeah, that is yes, that is the only thing we'll be able to hear today. But yeah, we might be missing engine audio, but we are not missing the race itself.
Well, at least I think it's a she, is providing us useful information about the tyres and the possible strategies that could occur during today's race. We're assuming Canada is a track where the pit lane lost time is so much less than it is in normal tracks. It's around 18 seconds, which is about 6-7 seconds less than the average. So a two-stop strategy is definitely one that drivers should consider. If they do so, the drivers who are currently qualifying on the hards, I don't think they're going to be opting for it. Like Smeed in 6th position. But yeah, super soft, soft, medium, still getting confused with last year, is an optimal strategy, as is the medium to the hard, so a bit of a variety, which we haven't really seen so far, and it's pretty much been straightforward for the drivers, so another ingredient that could spice up this race is the strategy and who's going to who's going to risk for a two-stop and risk getting into traffic, who's going to pretty much play it safe with the one-stop.
I mean, yeah, it will be interesting to see because there are some parts of this track that are absolute nightmares to overtake on, whilst others are quite easy to overtake on. So yeah, some drivers may be caught out at the wrong place at the wrong time and be caught up in some traffic, whilst others might be lucky.
You're very right, and drivers are quite fortunate who do opt for this to stop that. There was only 14 drivers taking part compared to our usual high attendance. But FK Gaming is out of qualifying in one of the Williams cars. I'm not sure if he had a qualifying ban to serve. I'm assuming it was because he retired pretty much straight away. There's some yellow flags in Sector 1 and Sector 2 that's might be for someone. No, they've been cleared, so I think someone who had an incident has now got back going again. But yeah, right at the moment, Red Bull are looking really strong. A split in between by Reina in the Toro Rosso. So these three looking really good. Mr. Anker, who obviously has had a really good start to the season, but has had a bit of misfortune. His teammate Hadler has been really consistent. So Red Bull, don't discount them for a challenge of the Constructors' Championship. Now there's only one McLaren representative for the rest of the season, and Sauber as well, unless Kreisix is taking third space. But yeah, really interesting dilemma here in qualifying with Red Bull looking really strong.
Yeah, those two Red Bulls are looking quite good up there, with the slowest time of the Red Bull set is a 1 minute 8.4, and further down we're seeing times of 108, 9 and 10. So yeah, some of the drivers might be needing to pick up the pace if they want to start in a good grid spot today.
And Hadler on his current lap time is 2 and a bit tenths up, which it could, if he nails the final chicane, could be good enough to overhaul his teammate at the moment on his provisional pole position. Up towards the line comes Hadler, and he did improve, but not position-wise. It's 103, 108.3 to 6. So it's about a tenth and a half he needs to gain to get anywhere near to his teammate, who's actually already up on his time. And as he comes to the final chicane, he could dip into the sevens here. Up towards the line now comes the Finn, and he does indeed 1:07.8. That's a monstrous lap from the Red Bull, and puts himself around about 4.5 tenths clear of Rayner. Rayner's also on his flying laps. We'll see how he progresses, but yeah, Anker really setting the gauntlet. Wow.
Yeah, and we're seeing Smeech in 6th place, coming up to the line, moves up into 5th place, the 109.6. But yeah, Rayner on his time now, not looking too great. Looks like he's taking another out lap. Taking one of those double out laps just to get the tyres up to optimal temperature and getting enough ERS to push for a whole lap, as he's now coming down to the final chicane. As he actually chooses to go into the pits.
Interesting. So let's see if anyone is on a lap. I think Kreisix is, but he's got the racing point of Nixon, who must have disturbed him, but I don't think got in the way of the Alfa Romeo. As good as he Kreisix back there obviously was in F4 in season 16, and that got promoted all the way up into F2 in season 17, and now he's back. But he goes into the pits. But yeah, he's back. And he's partnering Martin G for this race, maybe for the whole season. We're not sure on Zer's current situation. Yeah, 7th place at the moment. Who's fitted on the hard set of tyres. That's what he did his best lap time on. Kimi's, who set his best lap on the mediums, is now going out on the softs. So a change of strategy, it looks like, for the Renault. We'll see how he gets on his lap as we just over halfway distance, 7 minutes ago of this qualifying session. And there's still quite a lot of drivers still yet without a lap time.
Yeah, we're seeing all the way from 8th down to 13th if we don't count FK Gaming as Borgson's out in the 3rd sector. Could that be him hitting the wall of champions? I don't know, but there are yellow flags in sector 3 and he is out.
I'm generally not sure where Borgson was. I'm assuming he crashed because there would have been no yellow flags if he retired in the pits, as Le Mans goes 8th on the medium set of tyres. I went on board with the Williams and just couldn't see his car, so got away pretty quickly as Copey now goes 8th, but Nixon, his teammate, goes provisional pole. The 107, only 2 milliseconds ahead of Anchor. That's how you cut it fine, ladies and gents. Wow.
That is close. 0.002 of a second.
Wowee. I mean, that just shows that the finest of margins can make all the difference between second and provisional pole. But yeah, the racing points looking really strong. Obviously, Copey, I think, can go a little bit better. But obviously, no, his teammate can't get any better than that, surely.
I mean, you never know.
It's a bit too early to say your famous quote, because if we usually say that for the race, it's still in qualifying. Who was that jumped up? I think that was Le Mans.
Yeah, up into 3rd place with a 108.276.
On the medium tyres, are you okay? That's an outrageous... I'm more impressed with that lap time than I am with the 2 drivers in front of him. Not taking anything, not discrediting their lap time, because they were super. As Railgun actually crosses the line and beats them. 107.7. The game lagged for a second, and I thought he did like a 113 provisional. But no, a 107.7. So Anchor was on provisional pole, then it nicked in, and now Railgun in the sole McLaren for today's race. Take that, Igniton. Take that, Anchor. 4 minutes ago, this qualifying session just over, and the McLaren now has the pace, has the advantage. That's a stunning lap time. It'll be monstrous if anyone can stop that.
Well, you never know. The drivers are now just fueling up and getting DRS for that final mad dash in the last 2 minutes. So, looks like Anchor had some connection issues there, but seeing a couple of drivers come out now. But if we see the times being so close at the top, this could be an interesting ending if the drivers suddenly find places on track where they can get back a lot of time.
Definitely, I'm looking at the tyres that everyone's opted for at the moment. Half the drivers are still in the pits. But Smeed is actually about to start his qualifying lap, so whilst most drivers are in their garage, we might as well go on board for a lap around this circuit, on board with the Hassman, who hasn't really had the best of seasons, especially compared to last season where he was the championship contender. But you know, we're only 1/3 of the way through the season, so there's definite chances to gain more points. Potential for a championship contending spot is probably unlikely for Smeed, but he obviously has other commitments. But he's still very quick. and it's very hard for him to lose a bit of speed as he comes down towards the second or the third chicane, you could say, through turn 8 and 9, and now he has that big braking zone of turn 10 right in front of him. You've got a bit of time to prepare yourself for this braking zone, braking at the 100-meter board, turning in first gear, then short fishing up through to third, and then getting on the gas, and now you've got a lot of time, to think about the final chicane, which can make or break lap times. Just misjudging it can cause a corner cut, and therefore in a bad lap time. Let's see how Smeech takes it. Right, then left. Bit conservative, not pushing to the edges of the track, but I guess he just wants to get a good lap time in. And he goes 7th with a 108.6, which on the medium tyres, the second highest, not that bad.
No, that is definitely quite a fine lap time, especially looking at what the other drivers at the front has been able to do. And it looks like Railgun, Ignition and Anchor is out on their outlaps currently, all on the soft tyres. And I think Railgun is first, then it must be Anchor, who's just started the flying lap, and then so Anchor's first, then it'll be Railgun, and then Ignition last of those three top drivers. Let's see what they can do here in the end of this qualifying session. See Ignition coming out on that back straight, trying to get some slipstream off his teammate, and what is the third DRS zone on this track. And coming down to the very long straight, first need to go through the hairpin and then the very long straight down to turn 13 and 14. Looks like you got a good exit there, opening the DRS. And it looks like he is just about on his lap time for now. Coming through the final chicane, comes good through there. Across the line, doesn't improve, it's just a bit down. But now looking at Railgun, now coming through the hairpin to go down the straight. I see some yellow flags, I believe that's just for drivers letting other people pass, but 20 seconds left, so Kopi think he'll just make it across the line. Now, Railgun coming through. Oh, and he hits the wall of champions! Railgun's out. He will not be improving on his time. Now, Ignition will come past that point. Will they be able to clear it up and clear the yellow flags, or will he just be going through the ghosted car as he goes into the pits? That means that Railgun will probably be in first place. Yeah, because no, Kopi is still going. Kopi is on the soft tires. Le Mans is also going still. It looks like he is up on his time, but I don't think it will be enough to go on to pole position. But let's see what he will be able to do. Maybe just a small improvement could put him up. Let's see, comes across the line. Improves up into second place he goes. Then we're just missing Kopi, comes through the final chicane, almost hits the wall, goes real close. Now comes across the line. And it's good enough for something. And engine sound has come back. It's good enough for 11th place. But I have engine sound.
I have left the session and hopefully be able to join back for the race start.
But, yeah, I think you're back. So let's go through. Railgun on pole position, Le Mans in second, Ignition in third, Anker in fourth, Rayner in fifth, Hadler in sixth, Kimi's in seventh, Smeech in eighth, Martin G in ninth, and Kreisig rounds off the top 10. Then we have Kopi in 11th, Soren in 12th, Bulksan in 13th, and FK Gaming, both of the two last drivers not setting times. Bulksan, who we suspect crashing, and we believe that FK Gaming is serving a qualifying ban from an earlier race. But I believe I have engine sound back, so if I can get you back into the lobby, then I think everything is complete.
Successfully rejoined to a sunny
Yes,
Canada.
that's
Not a
perfect.
cloud to be seen in the sky, it seems.
I mean, it's perfect to have you back, but would have been nice to maybe see some wet weather, or maybe some cloudy conditions, just to see if we could get some rain, just to have that excitement. Now it looks like it'll be a bone dry Canadian Grand Prix for us today.
Well, you can only have one or the other. You can only have me or just some spicy weather.
Well, I mean, in Spain we had spicy weather and Cube, so.
Oh, clearly not tonight. That's not what the game thinks anyway.
But do you have engine sound back?
Yes, I do. Oh, they sound lovely. Not as nice as the V12s that Sebastian Vettel wanted back, but they'll do.
Yes.
Audio.
Well, like, it's a bit weird to have audio back because you've now gotten used to not hearing the audio. It's a bit weird.
Well, in all my commentaries, I've always had game audio, so it was quite.
Well, it was weird at the start, but I got used to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to have it have that issue again.
Oh no, me neither. It's good to have the audio.
Yeah. Thankfully, it's gone, and it hopefully wasn't a bad omen to the race. And we're back on the formation lap ahead of 35 laps. But these will go by very quickly because this track is quite short. It's only about a 1 minute 15 lap time on a race run. But yeah, Railgun gets pole. I think for the first time. Don't count me on that, but I'm not very good with statistics. But it's a very deserving pole position in Le Mans. Look really good on the mediums and the softs. So assuming that he's going to run both of them in this race, he could be on for a very good position. And Nixon, of course, who set that tremendous lap time, but obviously Railgun did one better. And obviously the two Red Bulls looking very strong still, but obviously a 4 and 6, not 1 and 3 like they were at the start. But we are gearing up now for a 14-man grid as FK Gaming, who didn't take part in qualifying, thankfully will take part in the race. Lines up on the 14th and last grid spot in this race, and we can get going for 5 red lights here in Canada. And it's lights out, and away we go, and Railgun gets a bit of wheel spin, and that allows Le Mans to get alongside through turn 1 and ahead through turn 2 with the inside line going to the Williams, and he takes over the lead from the Finnish driver in the McLaren. Nixon holds third place. Hadler has got ahead of Kim. He's now tucked in behind his teammate as they all foul through turn 3 and 4. No major incidents just yet, as Kimmy's is going side by side with Rayner, who fancies a move on the Renault, and they make contact, but just about keep it on the road. That could have been a hairy incident, and now they stream down towards turn 7 and 8 and 9. And the Toro Rosso could be under pressure from the Martin G, who needs a good result here. And they make contact with the Toro Rosso, and he loses out to Smeej and to possibly his teammate for the race, Kreisix. But no, Kreisix tucks in behind, and Martin G might try and fancy a move down towards turn 10, going wheel to wheel with Smeej. Two F2 veterans here, but Smeej is the more braver on brakes and out of that turn 10 hairpin. I can get going again, but at the front, Railgun's retaken the lead from Le Mans. So the slipstream really working for the McLaren's favour, but really aggressive setup there. And he's retaken over the lead after losing it at this position 1 lap ago.
Yes, and I believe it was down the straight, so just showing, as you said, the slipstream being very important now on this track. And we see a couple of drivers, I think Bolton and Kopi, still battling away down at the back, just trying to pick up the scraps down the back. But yeah, Soren also getting close to Kreisix, coming on to the back straight. DRS not activated yet, that'll only be on the next lap. as Soren goes for a move down the inside. It's a bit of a weird camera angle, but he goes for it and he gets the move done. So Soren into the top 10, just pushing Croix out.
Yeah, and that's 2 positions gained for him, as has FK Gaming. The big loser in the first few laps is Copa, who's gone from 11th down to 14th and now dropping 1 second behind Bulksan. And I wonder if the Racing Point has accumulated any front wing damage. He looks quite slow compared to other drivers, so maybe as he's on the hard tyres, he's taking it very conservative in the first few opening laps, and position losses aren't really that big of a problem for him. We'll have to wait and see. His teammate holding off Anker at the moment, starting to fall back a little bit outside of Le Mans, who's also falling a little bit behind from Railgod, but still within DRS, as it has now been enabled, and they can use it on 3 straights. This is the first one. Then obviously down towards the final chicane and the Wall of Champions, and then obviously on the home straight. As that is Rayner, who's got past Kimmy's again after they were squabbling on the opening lap. The Toro Rosso is now ahead of the Renault, but the Renault might try and fancy a move down towards turn 10. No, he thinks better of it. Try and might get the switch back and then get better traction out of that corner and possibly launch an attack down towards the final chicane, as he has the DRS. Toro Rosso does not. Let's see if it's powerful enough to put the Renault alongside. No, they have to be brave on the brakes, and the final chicane is not a corner you ideally want to be going side by side. It's more of a corner where you want to be fully ahead into the braking zone, as going side by side could result in one of the drivers being clattered into the wall. And being the Wall of Champions is not a nice place to crash.
No, it really isn't. And we're seeing Anker and Nick Nixon being really close up at the front, fighting for the final podium position, and FK Gaming getting a 3-second time penalty. But Anker and Nick Nixon really battling away both into the final chicane and the first couple of corners. And let's see what will happen come the very long back straight. They were not this close. I think Anker was a bit further back on the last lap, so let's see what he'll be able to do now to get a bit of oversteer. He's still within the DRS. Now come down the straight with DRS and slipstream. It looks like he got a bit too far back with that oversteer. And he's not able to do anything as he goes into the pits on the 4th lap, sorry. Already. Quite an early pit stop.
That is a very early pit stop, but Kimmy's is following suit. Both going on, actually no, Anker both are going on the medium tyres. Was that a front wing change for Kimmy's? Or was that a very slow stop? So they're confirming they're both on the 2-stop strategy, which I did suspect as they started on the softs. So these two have got a bit of clean air. Anker has 6 seconds before he catches the Racing Point of Kopi. But that gives it's in a bit of breathing room. He still has Rebel behind him, but only 1, and he's a bit further behind compared to the Finn in the Red Bull. That was right on his tail. Out the front is a second between first and second, but Nixon has dropped back quite significantly. So he just doesn't have the pace. Hadler's also in. So yeah, this is around the time. This is around the time that drivers come into the pits. Can the Red Bull guys catch Nixon napping here by both pitting? I'm assuming Anker will be ahead of Hadler as they both make their way. Well, one of them makes their way 60 kilometers down the straight. One of them 200 plus. I'm assuming as Anker goes into turn 1, yep, he is comfortably ahead of his teammate. But will he be ahead of Igniton? Let's see if the Racing Point decides to come into the pits for this lap, or any of the top 4, if they're the only ones still on the red rubber. Oh, they're all in. Oh, Le Mans jumped Railgun. Sorry to interrupt you there, but Le Mans has jumped Railgun. Here comes Anker down towards turn 1. He'll probably be behind the Williams and the McLaren, but he's ahead of the Racing Point of Nickton, who's just ahead of Hadler, who's side by side with Rayner as they come out of the pits. Hadler with the more usable tyres, and Rayner, oh, they're going side by side. It's not an optimal overtaking spot, and Rayner still going side by side with the much colder tyres, so not up to optimal temperature. He gets a bit of a slide on through the second chicane, but makes the move on Hadler. Hadler just decides to give him the room, but Rayner now with fresher tyres, and they'll be getting more temperature as he continues on his way, as Martin G gets a 3-second time penalty. That was very scary stuff for Rayner, who, you know, being on really fresh tyres, a little loss of traction could have ended both of their races. Good driving. Okay, I'm interested to see why Le Mans has emerged ahead of Railgun. The only reasonable explanation is I saw some wing when I was on board with Railgun. I think is Railgun picked up a bit of damage, or Le Mans. I saw a bit of winglet come off on one of the cars and off to the side. You know, wing damage. If you make one contact with the wall, you can get yourself front wing damage, and it can be costly here. And if that's happened to Le Mans, he'll be ruining that. But could that happen to Railgun? I'm trying to look at the front wing, seeing if anything's off, anything looks unusual. I can't see anything yet, but any wing damage can be costly at a street circuit, and yeah, I've known from experience that it's not fun. I don't think it was Le Mans who lost any of that end plate, because he's right behind Bulksan in the Toro Rosso, as his teammate FK Gaming did pit on the previous lap, which means as Le Mans overtakes the Toro Rosso into turn 8, that he has got a bit more of free air ahead of him, as FK Gaming was ahead of the Toro Rosso before he came to the pits. And it's crucial that Le Mans pulls away and hopes that Railgun struggles to get past Bulkson straight away, as will Anker, because that'll just help him as Railgun struggles through this bit of traffic. But down towards the final chicane, Bulkson has DRS, so does Railgun. Will Railgun try and move into turn 13 and 14? No, he thinks much sensibly backs out of that one. But who's gone very wide? Did Crysis have an issue? I saw a very slow car, and I think Crysis has hit the wall. World Champions in the final corner, because he was much further ahead of Le Mans than he is at the moment. Oh no! And Rainer's managed to clear Igniton, crucially, into the final chicane. As Igniton gets another penalty, Hadler isn't able to clear the other Toro Rosso of Bulkstone, but that was a real major scrub. Rainer's really getting his elbows out today. And, you know, into here, where he tries to get past, I thought there was going to be more contact than there was. So, bit of scruffy driving, but, you know, it just elbows out, pure, hard racing. And, yeah, it was really fun to watch. And Rainer, I'm sure, we're delighted that he's managed to clear the racing point and now can set his sights on the battle for, well, the provisional win, possibly. But Le Mans obviously streaking out clear, Railgun holding up anchor as Heidel has into the hairpin, finally cleared Bulksan and can now get chasing after Igniton, who he was previously behind, but the Toro Rosso has caused a little bit of time. As Igniton's still right on the tail of Rainer as Soren and Martin G both finally relinquish the lead to Le Mans once again and come in for their one and only pit stop. No, Soren's on the softs.
Oh.
On my screen, he is at least.
Yes, he is also on my screen. So, looks like Martin G going on the hard tires, looking for the one stop, and Soren on the soft tires, looking to go for the two stop to the end.
Alright, I like it. It's audacious from Soren. But I like his sense of optimism with these soft tyres. They're fresh, they can go around 10 laps, so maybe he can do 2 soft stints. It's a long stretch, but he could do it. He is in this league for a reason. You know, you're not just in F2 because of your pace, your out and out pace. It's because how you manage a race, your racecraft and everything like that. So surely you would think that if he's good with tyre management, he can get 2 set of softs to the end, but we will see as Railgun has got past Smeege, who actually goes into the pits. But Railgun is got Mr. Anker really close behind him to keep him company for the next few laps. Anker looks very eager to get past mostly 2 lap fresher tyres for the McLaren, as he pitted a lap, obviously 2 laps earlier, and Anker went for the undercut that not only got him ahead of Igniton but really far away from Ignition. Obviously has been overtaken by the Toro Rosso of Reina, but yeah. On to lap 15, Le Mans has just under a 3-second lead. And he is on his way to, hopefully I don't jinx him, but his first ever AOR F2 victory, and what a victory it will be for him. But he has still got a long way to go, and if he gets one penalty, that could see him lose first position. That's how crucial he has. That's how crucial penalties can be. You know, one mistake, and it could mean he finishes second, and I'm sure that will be absolutely devastating for him. So yeah, he has to be really focused for the next remainder of this race and make next to no mistakes, and hope others do, as Ignition has cleared Reina once again, but I don't see this battle ending anytime soon.
No, this battle is looking to go all the way to the end, as we see Hadler being real close to Reina there, and doesn't look like Nixon is pulling away too much. As I say that, he has already pulled a 7/10 gap down to Reina, so it looks like it'll just be a battle between the Toro Rosso and the Red Bull. But Ignition trying to catch up to the top 4 or the top 3 there.
Well, Hadler's going for a move on Reina into the hairpin, and Reina squeezes him on the exit there. That was a very audacious attempt from the Red Bull. Round the outside, you don't often see round the outside, it's usually down the inside the drivers opt for, but Reina really aggressive with the defensive moves, and I'm liking it from the Toro Rosso as he clatters the wall, but I think gets away with it. Yeah, as I said, hard but fair racing from the Toro Rosso driver, but he needs to lose as little time as possible whilst battling here, because now he's outside of DRS range as Kimi's is unfortunately out.
What has happened, I think he may have hit the wall of champions, as it is just in that mini sector that the yellow flags are out. I'm surprised that hasn't called out a safety car, as I would imagine he is stopped across the track in that place, but no, yellow flags have been cleared and the race is going on.
Oh dear, Soren, 3-second time penalty. That is not what you need when you are pushing really hard on these fresh set of soft tyres. And he has Volkswagen ahead of him, who's still going on his hard set of tyres. Probably pit in around 2 or 3 laps, but that will not be enough time before Soren clears him. Reina's in.
Yes, Reina's in the pits for what I would expect is another set of medium tyres, if not hard tyres, if he isn't comfortable.
Mediums go to the end.
Yeah, the mediums he
Opting for the mediums, alright.
Yes. And a wing change for Reina.
Oh.
A wing change for Reina.
When he did hit the wall of champions, he did get wing damage. I thought he got away with it. Unfortunately, he didn't.
No, unfortunately not. And it is one of the dangers on driving on a street circuit where the walls are so close.
It's pretty hard when you go from Monaco to Canada. You know, 2 similar tracks in a way where mistakes are really punishing, very different in a sense where one is very good for overtaking and one really isn't. But yeah, the main similarity is that mistakes don't go unpunished. Thankfully for Le Mans though, he is making next to no mistakes as he gets ever clear in the lead. Soren has got into 6th position as Hadler also comes into the pits as oh dear, Volkswagen. Speeding at the pit lane, that's not ideal. But he's going to come in and make his one and only pit stop hopefully. As Hadler also with a wing change. Also puts on a medium set of tyres and should emerge behind Reina with that wing change. It would have been ahead had he not had the wing change, but obviously he did.
You know, I'm not too sure that the medium tyres are going to last to the end.
You know, I'm not sure either. It's like 8, 16, 17 laps is a very long way to go.
But we
I
are
would have thought the
seeing...
hards would have been more optimal.
Yeah, but we are seeing Anker. He's been driving 14 laps on his medium tyres, and they're still holding up. So, with the right management, they could be holding up. But, I mean, I'm sure Chrysix will have to pit. He's not going to last
Oh yeah, definitely.
11 or, no, 15 laps. As Anker goes into the pits after 14 laps on his medium tyres. Just as we were talking about. So, you could hold it. It's around 15, 16 laps. But if you're having the right management, you could you could hold it home.
I mean, these drivers are immensely talented. They're in the second tier of the best league, F1 league, on this platform for a reason. They're bloody good. Excuse my language. At this, but yeah, Le Mans still leading, and I'm assuming he'll come in a few laps, maybe this lap possibly. I mean, he will be wary of Railgun getting a bit close to him. 1.8 seconds between the two of them. Railgun might try and form the undercut. It does work wonders here, but Le Mans has covered it off, and they both pit on the same lap.
Yes,
Now, if
that
I was
is
Railgun,
true.
I would have opted to stay out and just try and see if there's any pace left, and just risk it really, because by pitting on the same lap, there's absolutely no chance of him jumping unless Le Mans has some tragic circumstances. Unsurprisingly, both of them have no wing changes, as does Igniton. But Anker might take the lead, no, but he's ahead of Railgun.
Railgun got hold up. I think he got hold up by Igniton coming into the pits just as he was finishing off his stop. So Igniton inadvertently made Anker overtake Railgun in the pit stops.
Oh dear, now Martin G is becoming a big threat for Le Mans, but Le Mans manages to clear him, thankfully. Anker, wow, that undercut again working for the Red Bull. In his first stint he managed to clear Igniton, and in the second stint, through Igniton's work, a bit lucky from the Red Bull, but he'll take it, and he's ahead of Railgun now, and he should be able to clear Martin G. This is a battle position. Neither of them have to pit again, but I don't think Martin G has much to fight for. Anker's on much fresher tyres, but he defends the inside. But look, Anker can just see the prey in his distance off Le Mans. He knows the win is there for the taking, but he's got his car in between, and that's the last thing they want as they head through a very tight and twisty section where overtaking is not really possible until after turns 6 and 7, really.
No, when you're going through this part, it is just to hold it out of the walls and try to keep close to your competitors, because it's not looking good for you to come past, and that was really why they put in this extra DRS straight, as Anker tries to find the room left, right and center, but Martin G is just parking his car on the racing line. And yeah, just in the middle of everything, and Anker just can't get past. Now on the long straight down to the final chicane, Martin G still having DRS, defending to the inside, going all the way to the edge of the grass, but it looks like Anker has gotten the position coming out on the straight, but Martin still having the DRS. Anker will have to worry into turn 1. Martin just looking to see if he could get a way past, but Anker defending well, and now he'll be having to look in his mirrors again for Railgun.
Soren has come in for his final pit stop and unsurprisingly couldn't make those softs last enough to put on another fresh set of the red rubber, so he's gone back onto the mediums and has come out just behind Hadler. Hadler and Rayner really must be ruining that front wing damage, because at the moment Rayner is at about 5 seconds behind Igniton, or just about. A bit, actually no, about 7 seconds behind, and the front wing changes around about 5-6 seconds, so he'll be right there in the provisional battle for a very good podium position possibly. But yeah, at the moment as it stands, Le Mans leads, but Anker has clawed back into DRS range of the Williams, and he looks he looks really planted to this circuit, much more than Le Mans on these medium set compiler tyres, and Anker is just pressurising this young Polish driver who hasn't ever won. I don't think in AOR, maybe he's won in F3, but this is an F2, this is a different ball game, as Railgun has got past Martin G, but they make contact and Martin G taps the rear of Railgun. Thankfully, no further damage, or any damage, I don't think, to any of the drivers. The damage has been done to Martin G, being that he has committed to this one-stop strategy, which means he's very vulnerable to the guys behind him. And the last one, really, before, I think, ever, until the end of the race, will be Nixon, who'll try and get past him. Smeej is also on Martin's strategy, but the battle for the lead is that Anker could take the lead from Le Mans down towards turn 13, and you know what? With DRS and Slipstream into the final chicane, they're going wheel to wheel. Somehow they make it through together. Anker again with DRS onto the front straight, and he has managed to take the lead. That was really suspenseful as they were going side by side into turn 13 and 14. You don't off, that's literally an ingredient, a recipe for disaster. But they made it work, and Anker, with some supreme driving, manages to overthrow Le Mans, who's done such a good job. Maybe I did jinx him, but there's still 10 and a bit laps to go of this race. I'm not sure on penalties. But boy, that was really close to contact, and I'm really surprised they didn't even connect. That just goes how to show how good these drivers are. Not just at being quick, but their racecraft as well, Jen.
Yes, indeed, and that overtake just shows that it is not over until the fat lady sings. You can have a 2, 3, or even 4 second gap, but someone who's just a bit faster can just bang in lap times and come up and pressure you. But now Railgun looking to come up to this fight and join in. Maybe he'll be looking to take the lead off of these two, as they're all on similar strategies with the tires. Anker 1 lap older, but I don't think that's hurting any of them, as they are all within a second of each other. There's 1 second from Anker down to Railgun, so all within a second. As Le Mans gets a 3-second time penalty. Not what you want to see when you're battling for the lead.
That might cost him. I'm pretty sure Railgun has got... Oh no, he's not got any penalties. So Le Mans is the first of the top 3 to encounter a penalty on the board. Anker has 1 warning, Railgun has 2, and obviously Le Mans has 3.
Oh,
but
Railgun.
Yeah, Anker in the driving seat.
Railgun getting a 3-second time penalty.
Oh, just I said that. For some reason they're not coming up on my notification screen, but that's probably because I left the session. Soren has now got a penalty on my screen, but I'm not sure how long ago that was.
He has. We got it at the same time. But now...
Alright, so maybe they resumed.
Yeah, Railgun and Le Mans both having penalties. Anker on 1 warning, was it you said?
Yep, just 1.
Yep, so he'll really be having to cut some corners to get a penalty and make this a square fight again.
That's what Anka has to think about. He knows that just keep it on the track, keep it within the white lines, and just stay quick, and the win is his. If he avoids a penalty, he could let them overtake 3 laps for the end. They won't catch 3 seconds over him.
I mean, you never
He just
know.
needs to. Oh, he just. I mean, it's unlikely. Anka is really quick. You know, he's an F1 driver. Well, he was in Split 1, I should say. They're all F1 because they're driving F1 cars. But I mean, Tier 1, I should say. But yeah, Anka is a really quick driver, and yeah, he might have been in this position before. Certainly not this season. With the race victory in his hands, Railgun has been in this position before, but none of the top 3 have won a race this season. And Le Mans is struggling out of that sequence of corners, and Railgun dives at the inside at turn 6, barges the Williams through these corners, and Railgun's in a spin! He kept it on the road somehow, but he's lost so much momentum. So much so that Nickton now, with DRS down towards turn 7 and 8, no, he can't quite get past him. That was a bit of argy-bargy racing there. I think Railgun trying a bit too hard. I think Nickton dives down the inside at turn 10. Railgun gives him just enough space, a bit of a squeeze for good measure. Stays ahead, but now with no DRS. As you know, he does somehow have DRS from Le Mans. Will it keep him ahead of the racing point? I don't think so. It will, for the time being, so he survives that threat. I think Le Mans has got some sort of front wing damage, because it's unusual that someone... Yes, he has. The front wing on the right hand side is a bit dislodged, there's a bit missing. Oh, Le Mans has lost any chance of a victory because of that. Now, the fact that they were scrapping means that Anka has a 2-second buffer ahead of the Williams. And now these 3 will probably get into battle on possible contact. Anka is looking set for a victory.
Yes, indeed, and it looked like that the man almost helped Railgun back on track when he was looking to go into that spin. So quite an interesting contact there, but it looks like both of those drivers will be coming under threat from Igniton very soon if they don't watch out what they're doing. But it looks like the man is keeping going, even though he has a bit of wing damage. I don't think Railgun picked any up. His front wing still looks good, but Igniton coming from behind. And Anka just building his lead now.
Oh dear. Oh. I'm just seeing it. I've just gone on Igniton's race director, and it doesn't look pretty at all.
No.
There's too many penalties for him to even consider getting a podium whatsoever.
Are we talking 12 seconds?
We are talking 1, 2, 3, and 3 penalties and 2 warnings. So if he gets 1 more warning, he will get 12 seconds. But there goes Railgun. Unsurprisingly, Le Mans really struggling for downforce and traction out of those sequence of corners, and unsurprisingly has let the McLaren through. And here comes Igniton now, down towards turn 10. He's going to try another dive bomb, but no, he thinks better of it. Which he obviously didn't when he tried to get past Railgun. Obviously, he doesn't want any more contact, he doesn't want to risk anything, knowing that Le Mans is there for the taking, and obviously Igniton has a bunch of penalties himself. So Le Mans could still end up on the podium here, and he probably will end up, as in there's another penalty for Igniton. So there we go, there's the 12 seconds. There is the 12 seconds.
Yeah, the driver's not looking pretty with the track limits today.
Well, some are, some aren't.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, Anka still hasn't got his first penalty, and that will just be the creme de la creme of a fantastic race from him. Just, you know, Canada is notorious for track limits, and drivers abusing it. The fact that he probably might be the only driver who hasn't had a penalty in this race. I will check. Maybe Smeed. I don't think I've seen Smeed on the penalty board at the moment, but we'll see how that fares. We still have 5 more laps to go, but Anka can really just take it easy now. Railgun, I don't think, has the pace to catch up 2.4 seconds in 5 laps, but he will give it a right old go. Anka has got low ERS, he's dipping into the single digits, whereas Railgun has got about 30% left to use in his back pocket, so it's not over for the win just yet. If Anka does get a penalty, pressure will add up. If he doesn't get a penalty, he's set for a win with 4 laps to go as he crosses the line.
Yes, but looking behind, it looks like Le Mans just letting Nixon pass just to relieve all pressure from him as he just moved to the side of the track. Looking a bit like almost a team order decision, even though they're not in the same team. He must have looked at the penalty board and seen his penalties. Yeah. FK Gaming going into the pits for another pit stop. Going on to, I believe, used soft tyres. Maybe a front wing change. We've also seen a lot of them today.
Well, that's interesting because you would think pitting this late on would, you know, be the reason for a fastest lap attempt, but he's already got the fastest lap. I think he's just trying to make some enjoyment out of this race because it hasn't been that good for him. As Kreisix, the battle for 11th place, there are other drivers in this race, they just haven't had the attention because the battle for the lead has been really tense, and it will carry on for 3 more laps. So Kreisix has got past Kopi in the battle for 11th. No points will be awarded for that, but that's just for pride, as Kreisix on his debut return back into F2 after not signing up to start of this season after committing to the past 2 seasons in AOR. Will probably finish up with an 11th place outside the points. But yeah, Epic Gaming will probably try and go for the fastest lap. He's close to being lapped. He's just coming around the hairpin as Anka now comes up towards the hairpin himself, as he only has to do this 2 more times before he can taste victory, and the first time he would have won in AOR. Oh god. In a long time. If I have time, I might try and look that up.
I mean, you have 2 laps, so if you can do it in 2 laps, go ahead and do it. We're currently seeing Hadler down in 10th place, being close to Smeej, and Smeej being close to Soren. Doesn't look like any one of them will be going for any overtakes. But yeah, Rayner close to Martin G, down in 5th place. So Rayner Box and Martin G in a bit of a battle here for 5th place. Rayner was caught up to Martin G after Martin G was involved with the top guys a bit earlier on. So let's see what will happen in the next couple of laps, these final 1.5 laps. And coming into the chicane here, Rayner not going for the move, but what about into the hairpin? Will he do anything? No, it doesn't seem like it. He'll be looking to do it on the DRS straight, and FK Gaming sets the fastest lap of the race. Looks like he is just doing fast laps now. And Kreisix going into the pits to possibly do the same, as Igniton gets another 3-second time penalty onto the board, and Rayner there with the time penalty. Not looking too good there, but goes down the inside of Martin G. There's a bit of tyre banging there. Bolkson now trying to get a piece of that overtake too, but not having enough speed. But Rayner getting past. What about Bolkson here on the final lap? Let's see. Don't think he's close enough. Now let's focus on Anchor and the top guys. See if anything happens here. Doesn't look like it. We have quite some gaps and quite some penalties. Martin G is still close to Rayner and Bolkson. That 3-way fight doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like anything will happen with them. Hadler being close to Smeej, but I don't think he'll be going for an overtaking attempt. But here we see Mr. Anker come across the line to take the win. His first win this season in F2 and his first win in a long time. But it looks like Martin G tried an overtake on Rayner but couldn't do it. Now we're seeing everything getting reshuffled after the penalties. But Mr. Anker coming home to take the win in I don't know how long, but James, you maybe know it.
He's never won in AOR.
Oh, this is his first win in AOR and his first win this season.
Unless he... Because I'm pretty sure he joined in season 15. He's had 3 and a bit seasons and he's winless until today. Unless he's been active in season 14 under a different username. But yeah, that's his first victory for what I know, and for how he obviously knows inside the cockpit. And what a deserving victory it was. But another mention to Smeej, who didn't get any penalties and only finished 1.9 seconds off the podium.
Oh, that just shows how much penalties mean. But here you have your podium for the day. Great fight these guys had at the top. But Mr. Anker coming out on the top step on the podium, tasting the champagne at the top for the first time.
Oh, it's a finish one too.
Oh, yes indeed.
And the pole in third. So, Le Mans, I think he would have wanted that win. Obviously, I think that wing damage did cost him. Relgon didn't have the pace in the end, but obviously did have that penalty. But Anker did. And he made that 2-stop strategy work, and from 4th on the grid, he wins his first race. But yeah, mentioned to Smeej and Kopi as well, they were penaltyless. Unfortunately, Kopi could not benefit, as his race was pretty much run after presumable wing damage on the very first lap. But Smeej, yeah, from 8th to 1st, making that 1-stop strategy work, and yeah, only 1.9 seconds off the podium, and that would have been some result. But 4th, I think he can take a lot of validation from that result.
Yeah.
And Martin G, of course, in 6th. Will he retake the championship lead? I don't know.
We can try and do the math. That's then... How many points is 6th place? That's bad. Thank you. 8 points. We can try and do the maths if we head over here and see how the Drivers' Championship were looking. He was 6 points behind. He has taken the championship lead with 2 points. So well done to Martin G, taking the championship lead back from Nabadovsky, who unfortunately couldn't be here today. So well done.
But yeah, with Anker winning, that will put him on, if I can do the maths, 64 points, which will only be about, what, 17 points behind Martin G, so possibly the Finn in the Red Bull could be a championship contender. Unfortunately, Napadovsky couldn't make it for today's race. I'm sure he would have loved to, but due to some unseen circumstances, he wasn't able to do so. But yeah, Anker, after that win, he could build up some momentum. You never know. We've just passed 33.3 recurring distance. We're 1/3 of the way through the season, so we've still got a long way to go. The season isn't over until February. I think the first day of February, I think it ends. But yeah, so a long way to go this season. So if anything's possible, Anker can still do it. Anyone can still do it. Smeej could do it. Hadler could do it. Well, Martin G will head to France, the championship leader, which will take place in a week's time at a less so street circuit, a bit more runoff area, a lot of runoff area actually.
Yeah, it is France, and it has been known to be runoff central with that striped runoff area which surrounds the whole track. Yeah, we will see you there in next week to see how this championship fight continues with now Mr. Anchor up there with the guys. But we'll see next week, and until then, have a good one. Goodbye.